What makes for a great mission statement? How do you know when what you've written is a really compelling goal that everyone's going to get fired up about? It turns out there are 4 distinct types of mission statements. And when you use the right one in the right setting, you get exceptional results. See, back in the day, Jim Collins, the now famous author, speaker on all things leadership and organization, he wrote an article with his buddy Jerry Porras, and they talked about 4 types of mission statements that they've seen. I read that way back in the day, and in years later, as a coach and consultant with lots of different organizations, I've seen these 4 types play out again and again. I'm going to walk you through the 4 types and give you some examples of each. And maybe you can learn something about which type is right for your organization for this season. The first type was to set a target. We want to accomplish this result by this time. We want to reach 100 million in sales. We want to reduce turnover. We want to get this customer to sign up for this much times. Set a target. This is by far the most common. Now you can have what I call a flagship target or a universal target. The flagship target is where you pick one particular thing. Now I once saw a leadership team get hung up over this and really had to help them process this. The flagship target is exciting and meaningful and cool, but it may not involve the whole organization. A universal target, on the other hand, is something that everybody can buy into. It may not be as exciting sometimes, though, if you've got a lot of diversity in your groups. And the military is a good example of folks who sometimes pick a flagship target. We're going to take that hill. Well, there's 100 other little things going on that support and connect to, but they aren't directly involved in the taking of the hill. That's okay. You get to pick what does your organization need at this time. Do we need to all come together around a universal goal? Or can we all get excited about something this other department's doing? The next type of a mission is to choose a common enemy. Few things galvanize a group of people together and get them fired up about something than defeating a common enemy. In fact, this is one of the most powerful ways to create a sense of connection and togetherness in your organization. One of my favorite examples of this is from years past. Honda and Yamaha were competing in one of their many categories that they compete in this case it was motorcycles. And Yamaha had edged out Honda, even though Honda had been the leader for a long time. So Honda set a new mission statement. And you ready for what it was? Pardon my pronunciation, but it was Yamaha wo Tsubutsu, which translated best as I can is we will crush Yamaha. That's the mission statement, which they all began to realize, quickly, we're going to get back to number 1. That's a galvanizing mission statement. If you've got a common enemy, that's a powerful option for you. Beat that company. The third option is to choose a role model. We want to be like this kind of company. In fact, I hear this a lot these days. People have said things like, we want to be the Apple of car sales, or we want to be the Uber for food. This can be a really powerful mission statement if you've got a clear role model, if what they do fits your environment really well, and if you have a capacity to be that unique player in your space. If you get the right parallels there, and they match, and you have that open gap in your space, then picking a role model and saying we're going to be this in our space can be a really powerful mission statement. And the last is to proclaim a new identity. We used to be this, now we're going to be this. And there might be measurable markers and tangible things to know you get there, but really what you're saying is we're shifting from a physical to a digital company. IBM went through this process. They were primarily a hardware company, and they went to epic scales around the world, becoming the biggest, best computer hardware company in the world. And then they nearly died until a new CEO came in and said, we're shifting to a services company. Oh, we'll still sell hardware, but it'll be a part of these larger services packages. That shift in the company not only saved them, but it put them back at the top of their field. They became a new kind of company. Their goal was to take on a new identity. So which is right for you? Well, gosh, I hate to tell you this, but the answer is, it depends. It's like the worst answer. As a consultant, I'm not ever supposed to say that, like I'm supposed to have an answer, but the truth is, it depends what do your people need and what do you need to work on. Do you need to come together and fight a common enemy and bond? Do you want to get diversity and let everyone kind of pick a new piece and play? You're going to have a different goal for that. Is there one initiative that's kind of the newest, hottest thing that you're going to hang your hopes on? Maybe you want to set a flagship goal, a particular target around that. Or do you need a new identity? What's going on in your company will define what you need to do in terms of setting your mission statement. But what they all have is they all have clarity, they all have measures, they all have a timeline, they're all smart. I mean, you can be smart and be a flagship. You can be smart and be a new identity. You can even be smart and define what role model looks like in your space. How will you know when you're the apple of your space? All of these are smart, but they're all very different. They call different feelings and different actions from your people. What do your people need? That's the question. So don't just craft a number and think, we've got a good goal because we've got a clear number. The deeper question is, what does your organization need to galvanize it? What do you need to gather around to get excited about? Maybe it's one of these 4 types.